created. Layout design. Layout design is no different from a person who is wanting to have a house that has a good layout. Everybody wants to have a good layout to their home because they want their home to function well. It's the same thing with design. A good example is the magazine cover. This magazine cover has very good layout. As you can see, if you pay attention where your eye goes and how fast you're able to read the information that's on this magazine cover, shows that it has good layout. Theme. Theme is another one. Theme is one that kind of eludes people. So theme is basically a consistency of design or look or feel of something. So for instance, like this bottle of fruit here with its different array of colors, if I see this advertisement in a magazine and then I see it on TV and it looks just like the same, almost just like it is on the magazine, like it is in the TV ad, the only difference is one is static and one has moving pictures to it, then that's a consistent theme. So theme is another one to keep in mind when thinking of good digital content creation. Quality. Quality is another one. Quality is one where it's kind of self-explanatory. You want good quality. You want the content to be of good quality. You want the presentation to be of good quality. It's just like when you go out to eat at a restaurant to eat a meal, or you go out shopping to buy a certain particular type of clothes. Sorry about that. Good content has a good quality or high quality to it, or at least a fair quality to it. If it's of poor quality, then you're not going to be interested in that content. Think how many times you go on YouTube, you see a video and you're looking for something, but you skip a lot of videos that you can see excuse me, by the thumbnail excuse me, that it has poor quality. Excuse me. As you can see here, there's two images here of PowerPoint slides. On the right here, it's you see that it's bad quality. The difference between good and bad graphic design. Well, as you can see, the text is kind of not pleasing to the eye to read. The colors seem to be kind of all over the place. It doesn't seem to match very well of what's going on. Your eye's not really drawn to that. But if you look at the image, power slide image on the left, you can see that it's nice, it's clean, it's almost kind of sleek, it's very to the point, you can read it. The Power Note Simple Business Design. So you're more invited to the image on the left than you are to the right. So that's some examples of good quality design. Typography or fonts. That also makes up good digital content. Now don't be intimidated by the terminology that's all over the screen here. That's a lot of jargon that you won't be familiar with, but just know that there's a lot more to fonts than just picking a good font for something. An example of this would be there's two types of fonts that people generally use. Serif, which is a typeface that doesn't have, as you can see with the S and the R and the F and the I, it has like the little extra flaps and hooks and kind of extensions to the text. That's called a serif font. Now on the bottom is a sans serif font. And sans serif means it doesn't have the little hooks and the flaps and the extra extensions like the one at the top. So sans means without serif, without the little flaps and extensions and curvature of the text. Now fonts can come in many different styles, and it can come in many different particular weights. So you can have a lot of different styles that can be very sleek and modern, and some very traditional, and some just very abstract. For instance, like this one, do what you love, love what you do. Now this image is using three different types of fonts. It's using a sleek modern font, which is a sans serif font. It's using a serif font, which is like the, what you kind of has that cowboy, Western kind of font to it. And then Love, which is an abstract font. It has more of a creative abstract design to it. But as you can see, even though all three of them are different, you put them together, they make a nice little image of do what you love, love what you do. Now in closing, I know there was a lot to go through in a short amount of time. In summary, we went over digital content creation and what that is. Remember that's using images, photos, sound, statistical information, and creating digital content for people to consume. Now the tools or means of digital content creation is video editing, graphic design, image editing, audio, soundtrack, and social media. Now what makes good digital content is contrast, lights and darks, appropriate digital content, meaning that it's relevant. The content that you're creating is relevant to, who you're posting that content to. Polished content versus textured or raw content. Polished is the more professional looking kind of content. Textured content is more of a raw kind of just, at the spur of the moment created content. Basic principles of digital content like color, layout, theme, quality, typography. Now here are some quick tips to think of if you're ever thinking about making digital, or when you're making digital content. You have keep it simple. A lot of people think that the more stuff that they add in for, when they create some kind of content, that the more sophisticated and the more better it'll be. That's not necessarily the case. The less the content that you create with and you can communicate, the more sophisticated it is. So the less that you can use, the more sophisticated it is. It doesn't have to have all the splashing of colors and all the different types of font. Just keep it bare minimum, and as long as you can communicate with that bare minimum, you're doing pretty phenomenal. And study some professional work. When you're looking at YouTube, if you're a person that likes to go on YouTube and look at videos, if you're a person that likes Pinterest or Instagram, or if you're a person that likes to be on Twitter, pay attention to people and how they, if you're on Twitter, how they type, what kind of words that they use. For instance, think of like on YouTube, if somebody likes to make good polished clean video work, then and you like that style, then try to apply that to videos that you create. Or if you like somebody that likes to take pictures and the way they take them and the angle that they take them at, try to apply it to some of the pictures that you can take as well. And here is a quote I will leave you with. This quote was taken by a gentleman. His name is George Bernard Shaw. He was a famous playwright in the late 1800s, and he was from, I believe, Dublin, Ireland. He said, "Imagination is the beginning of creation." So at the start of your imagination, once you start imagining something and creating something, whether that be taking a picture of food or creating a video or anything of that sort, or sending out a tweet, that imagination is the beginning of that creation. So I hope this was all helpful to you. I hope some of these things will stick with you. And with that said, I hope you enjoy creating digital content.